What's poppin', party people?
What's up?
Today, we set a trap, and oh boy, did we catch something nice.
We got ourselves a Narcotic Casserole.
That's right. Now, with Narcotic Casserole, we're going to be reviewing Willard.
Delighted to be back again with you guys, and even more so enthusiastic about the fact that I get to talk about the 1971 B-movie classic, Willard, starring Bruce Davison, Sandra Locke, Ernest Borgnine. I'm actually thrilled because I've never got a chance to see this film, and I always saw the remake, and I...
No.
Willard.
The remake.
The one with Crispin Glover?
The good one?
Oh. We're talking about the remake. Oh, well, that's pretty good.
Yes. Look at the rats.
Willard is a classic tale, an unfortunate one about a man named Willard. His mother even doesn't like the name Willard. She says things like,
I should not have named you Willard. That's not a strong name, Mr. Willard. I should have named you Kay. That's a good name to have.
Now Willard also works a dead-end job, and his boss is a real jerk. You know, one of the ones that are like, now you listen to me, you show up for work late every single day. Now if you're gonna work here, I need you to be a warrior. Show me your war face. Now luckily for Willard, because his father used to run the company, his current boss has an agreement with Willard's mother. As long as his mother is alive, Willard will have a job at this company. And then she dies. Willard, now living in Sadsville, USA, realizes he doesn't have any friends at all. So he decides to befriend some rats. Two in particular. You have Socrates, the intelligent, calm, collected rat, and then Ben. Now one of his workmates is a beautiful young woman who tries to befriend Willard. But Willard doesn't care. She's just a dumb lady. What he wants is rats. Now he uses these rats to go take revenge on his jerky boss. That's pretty much the movie, The Een.
This particular remake is something of a strange beast because you watch this and you even compare it to the original. You definitely get the feeling that it follows the exact same narrative beats. But I think the thing that makes this one stand out more is the ingredients that they threw in. When you compare one and the other, Bruce Davison, Crispin Glover, you can definitely see why they cast Crispin Glover because physically he definitely embodies what Bruce Davison accomplished. When it comes to someone who is downtrodden, when it comes to a person who is basically crapped on by the world, Glover does a really good job conveying that timid person, that person who is just absolutely destroyed.
He's a great character actor, and a lot of his roles in the past, like McFly, or, you know, he always plays the kind of outcast,
downtrodden.
Misunderstood. Yeah.
He is hypnotic in this movie. I am actually kind of astonished about how well this person internalizes a lot of inner turmoil. He's not a quiet character by any stretch. When he does need to speak, he does speak, and he attempts to speak well, but unfortunately you can hear the weakness in his voice.
Ben. Out. Okay, Ben. Just because Socrates says it's okay.
You definitely get the vibe that this film was shooting for an R rating, but this film also came out around the time The Ring came out, and that was a PG-13 movie, and the studios realized, oh man, we can bank on PG-13 horror.
There was originally an R-rated version, but it did poorly during the first test screening, so they recut it to a PG-13.
So they took this PG-13 version, took that to a test screening, where it did even worse.
Yeah, the test audience said, like, there were too many rats.
It's a movie about rats.
And they didn't like the ending, so they recut and shot a few new scenes, and then that test screening did even worse.
It sucks because the director had this original vision and we're kind of left with the watered down version.
Now, I get the studio mentality, the idea that they want to try and catch the wave. They want to make a movie more accessible to a broad audience. And the fascinating thing is, Willard, it doesn't seem like it's going to be one of those movies that wants to be graphic or gory. In fact, I kind of admire the fact that the film seems to actually want to play things a little bit more delicately.
Yeah, there was no reason for this to go over the top of the violence or gore, but I would have liked to see the uncut version and see what the director really had in mind.
Like an extended Blu-ray or something?
Yeah, like complete with swearing, because you know the boss, that guy has a mouth on him.
Yeah,
you know?
he could fire off like crazy.
With their thumbs up there.
Well, what the guy...
Bonds?
Well, see, the thing is, what they're saying is it might even just because it draws a visual picture, want to stay away from actually even referring to the butt.
Another thing that probably no one's going to talk about, and I think should, The music on this film has a excellent classic, almost Bernard Herrmann Hitchcockian vibe to it, and the music is done by Shirley Walker, who everyone on the fan circuit has to know and is obligated to love for her work on Batman the Animated Series.
And Shirley Walker is a real trip. If you watch the making of Willard, she's always got this smile on her face. She must really enjoy her work.
Yeah, she seems like this super happy person, and the music is very unsettling and it's really creepy. But I feel like if you met Shirley Walker on a bus or something, she'd just like give you a cupcake, like, here, have this. Life is wonderful.
Another thing I have to point out that they did an excellent job doing is that they utilized the classic theme song, Ben, originally sung by Michael Jackson. And they make a scene which is staged to be very humorous, to almost be darkly humorous, and they use that song just right.
That is one of my favorite scenes in the whole freaking movie.
It's so much fun to see this swarm of rats come and corner this cat and completely demolish this desk that the cat is sitting on.
It's kind of like watching a Tom and Jerry cartoon, except they're not cartoons, they're real rats. Of course, you had your animatronic rats, a little bit of CGI, but most of them were in fact real.
Yeah, they used a ton of rats. It's like each rat had their own little understudy, and on the bottom of their tails, they would actually mark the rats with a number, so if you look closely, you could see when they're swapping them out.
Yeah, they had different rats trained to do different things. You had rats that were supposed to be the runners, they go downstairs. You had rats that were made to like chew things up. They had rats for everything. Now, with all that in mind, how would you, Narcotic Casserole, recommend this film to our viewers?
So for those of you who like your horror films to have a bit more of a psychological edge, to have something of a actual character-driven story to it, I thoroughly recommend this one. And not for nothing, just to see a notoriously eccentric actor really get to showcase everything he can do. So for that, I definitely love Willard.
Couldn't have put it better myself. Now, my favorite character was Socrates. And Socrates is a great philosopher as well as a rat, so let's move on to 3 other philosophers. Because we're drinking 3 Philosophers by Omegang.
Charles.
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 Charles. There's a lot of cherry coming off of that aroma.
That is a very hot beer. It's warming. You actually feel it going down, almost like taking a sip of whiskey or something like that. And we are drinking this a bit on the warmer side, which I would suggest.
Yeah, this is a quad ale, so it's got a really heavy malt base. There's definitely a lot of alcohol in this. It's, I think, above 9%. So you get a little bit of that boozy burned on your throat. It tastes all right. I like the cherries in it. It adds a character that you don't normally see in quads. But I'm not really a big fan of quads to start. It's a little too strong for me. I like my beers a little lighter.
See, I like this a lot. I don't really pick up on the chocolate or caramel, a little bit of the chocolate, but what really overpowers it is this black cherry, like black cherry ice cream flavor to me.
I still can't say that I'd recommend this. It's a little too strong and it burns your throat.
I enjoy this one quite a bit. I would say this would be a great beer for January. It definitely warms you up.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts?
As you know, I'm not really a big fan of ales, but, well.
Wow was right. It's a pretty tasty beer. It's not one that I would personally recommend. Pip here might recommend it. I can't say that I would, but what I can recommend to all of our viewers is you check out Narcotic Casserole's channel. He's got quality content. It's always a blast to work with him. So thanks again for working with us. We'll see you all next time.